Everyone, thanks for joining us today with the webinar. Today we'll talk about drop shipping firearms for FFL dealers. We're all really excited to chat with you today as this is our second ever FFL webinar. Whether you're brand new to drop shipping or just looking to tweak what you're already doing, there's definitely something here for you. Plus, we're going to touch a little bit on the election and sales during the election months, which I know a few of you are looking forward to. So let's go ahead and jump to the first one. While we're looking at everyone that will be speaking today, I just want to kind of touch on who we are as Dare to Surpass. It's probably the first time a lot of you have heard of us. We've been in the website creation game now for about 6 years. We started off working with a big name in the wing world, Buffalo Wings and Rings, but over the last year, we've really just focused on the FFL community, and we've learned a lot. We're here to share some of that with you. I'll be your host today, Drew. I'm excited to dive into drop shipping, how it can be a game changer for most of you. If you're currently already doing drop shipping, bear with us. We have value in here provided for you as well with Bill Jones. Before we get rolling, let's go ahead and run through the roster. So starting with myself, I'll be setting the stage, giving you a quick overview of what we're going to be talking about with drop shipping and how it could be the next big thing for your business, going over client website traffic and some marketing. Next up, we'll have Brandon, our CEO. He will break down the nuts and bolts of how our drop shipping platform works. He'll walk you through the process, showing you how easy it can be to integrate and start offering more products without the usual hassle. Then we'll go with Bill Jones, who's going to talk about the evolution of the FFL world. He's got some great insights on how things have changed over the years and where the industry is headed as a whole. Also talking about election sales over the past years, as he's seen them all. Trey will be after that on bat. He's from coast to coast. He is traveling as well. He's in an RV going cross country right now, but he's going to pop in on his phone. He should be here during his part. If not, I will cover his. As we know, payment processing is important. We need a smooth transaction, right? So that's why we do have some payment processing in here. After that, if anyone has any questions, which don't feel obligated, we'll go through a Q&A section, and this will answer everything on the spot for you. If we don't have the answer, we'll take our time, look into it, and then get you an answer by the end of the day or this week. So let's jump on into it. First thing we want to talk about is kind of our clients' traffic before when we started working with them and then where they're at now. And this is all based on their own efforts, whether they're getting people in store and getting them online. So I just kind of wanted to show this as not like hey, you're going to go crazy when you come out with this. It definitely takes some time. But clients that we've had for 8 months and beyond, that's what you're seeing here. And you can see the increase they've had in just website clicks due to having so much inventory, which is pretty neat. That's another big bonus of drop shipping. Now let's talk marketing. Drop shipping is just a tool, right? We don't guarantee sales, neither does drop shipping. Just because you're getting into drop shipping doesn't mean that you're going to make it overnight. You're going to make a lot of inventory overnight that we like to call an endless aisle. So that could be a really big game changer for you if you're 14 guns, 15 guns, under 100 guns in house. We can bring you over 14,000 with drop shipping. So it is really neat. We like to say it's a must-have. Working those two together will just help your retail location get the sales. So marketing-wise, if you can't make sales right now, might not be for you. But if you're already making sales, $1 million in inventory isn't going to diminish your results. If anything, it's going to improve it. All right, and now I'm going to go ahead and pass this. That's it for me. You'll hear from me at the end. We'll go through a couple of our clients' websites, but I'm going to pass this on over to Brandon. He'll walk you through the process of drop shipping firearms. Brandon?
Welcome, guys. My name is Brandon. Thank you for the introduction, Drew. Again, I just want to kind of follow along the coattails of what he was saying. Your website is a living document. A lot of people think it's just something you can sit and forget, and unfortunately, that just isn't true. It's certainly a lot easier than running a storefront and a lot of the other sales channels out there, but it still requires a little bit of attention, ideally at least once a week, dropping in, things like updating products, adding new articles and photos, updating your Google business page. All of those things you'll be able to do yourself with these tools we have for you. And, don't worry, we'll be here to help you. We're not just going to leave you alone with them. But I just wanted to get that out of the way just briefly, just letting everyone know that, unfortunately, it's not something that just is easy that you can just sit there and just, the sales are going to roll in automatically for you. There is still some work that needs to be done. And the more work you put in, the more successful you're going to be. On the same side of the token, we do require a little bit of extra work than some of the other companies out there. We like to say that we're about 80-20 on things. 80% of the work is us, 20% of the work is you, and really, the more effort you put in that 20%, the better we can do in that 80% for you in the long run. So let's talk about what you really need to get started. Number one, obviously, is inventory. You got to have something to sell. So if you already have inventory, great. You can sell that online. We can set you up with that. Or if you'd like, we can also get you access to Lipsy's inventory. They have over 14,000 products. Or even better, you can do both. So what exactly do we have to do to get that started? It's very simple. Just setting up your Lipsy's account. We do require two accounts for that. We need your dropshipping account and your store account to be set up. Now, there is one drawback with Lipsy's, and unfortunately, as the time is right now, they are our only distributor. We are working on getting more, but right now we're exclusively working with Lipsy's. But they have great products, and like I say, they have a lot of polymer, but they don't have a lot of ammo. And I'm sure if you talk to Lipsy's, they'll tell you that themselves. But they do have a fantastic selection of around 14,000 products that you're able to get on your website, and like Drew said, well over $1 million worth of inventory that you don't have to stock, ship, or store. So definitely a benefit and a bonus there. But again, if you already have your own products, you can certainly just sell those or do both. Now, the next thing you're going to need is a domain. We always recommend using GoDaddy just because it's trusted, it's easy to use, and they have a great feature called Delegate Access where you can just send us control the domain, and we can just do the DNS settings and things that we need to do, and don't have to worry about us stealing your domain or charging your credit card or anything like that. It just makes it easy for both of us, but we can certainly work with any domain provider out there. On the same token as payment processing, we can work with anyone out there, but we always recommend coast to coast. You'll hear from Trey later, and it's real simple. We recommend Trey just because if you ever have an issue or you ever have a question, you can just call Trey and he'll answer the phone and he'll take care of it for you. And it's just as simple as that. He's a great guy, and you're not going to be stuck on the phone on hold or waiting 7 days for an email from your payment processor. All right, let's move on to kind of what it looks like from a customer's point of view on the development process. So the first thing that you're going to be sent is an email that breaks down what we need from you in branding elements, your brand values, and things like that. And it's really important that we get a great grasp of your branding, your unique selling proposition, what sets you apart from your customers, why you're in business, your unique why. Um, any things that you support, charities wise, just so that we can craft that specific website to you. That's really what we're here to do, and we think that that's kind of the gap in the market. Is there's a lot of cookie cutter websites out there, and they are definitely for some people, and there's a great place for them, but um, we come at it from a more customized angle. And so it does take a little bit longer on the development process, and that is a little bit of a drawback there. It does take about 30 days to a month to finish a website, depending on responsiveness and things like that. We can get it done a little bit faster, a little bit slower, but it is usually around 30 days to get the website out. But that first meeting that we have is going to be about 30 minutes long, and that really sets the tone and the pace for the rest of the development. From there, we'll have you send over some images and some copywriting. Again, kind of along with what we talked about in that first meeting. We'll kind of say, hey, these are kind of some of the images we might have. If you don't have images, we can always provide images for you, but it's always better when they're images of you or your storefront or of your customers. It just adds that extra touch to the website. Same thing with copywriting. We certainly can do it and write it for you, but it always is better when you come in and add your own personal touch to it. We touched briefly on your unique selling proposition, but it's something we really want to drive home here. What sets you apart, right? We talk a little bit about being in the dropshipping world, that we're all selling the same things and we're all trying to fight for that slim margin, and that can become an issue. But if you really lean into what makes you unique and what sets you apart, that's what's going to bring customers to your site versus the competition. With things like map pricing, and it really brings everyone onto the same playing field with e-commerce. So lean into the unique selling proposition. What sets you apart? Let's highlight that. Let's focus on that. With articles and the SEO side of things in the future, we can talk about. And then from there, we'll add your own products on there. You might not have your own products, and that's fine, but you can add as many or as little products as you want. And then we'll go on to testing, basically hand you the keys to the website. You'll go through it. Hey, I really like this. I don't like that. Can we tweak this? We'll go from there, make all the changes you want, and then we'll pass the ownership off to you. And again, we want to be clear that you're not by yourself. If you ever need any help, give us a call. We'll be more than happy to walk you through anything, make any changes you might need for the website. If you do end up breaking it, don't worry. We keep 60-day backups of your entire site. So every 24 hours it's backed up, and like I said, we keep those for 60 days. So we can always go back and make any changes or fix any mistakes that you might have made or done on the website. So really get in there. It's your website. Don't be afraid to mess around with it. It's all yours. Now, with all that being said, that's kind of a short breakdown of what it looks like from your side of things. I'd like to pass it along to Bill here, though. He's got some great information for you, and I'm sure you're excited to hear from him.
Yeah. Hey, good afternoon. My name's Bill Jones, and I'm here today to discuss why, as a retailer, you should entertain the option of dropshipping firearms as a business channel. Just some quick background information on myself. I grew up in retail, as my old man was a store manager for Kmart, and I actually pushed around a Kmart blue light special cart as a young man. Spent a lot of time behind cash register, processing freight, stocking shelves, what have you. Pretty much anything to do with brick and mortar retail. That and a passion for the outdoors led me to pursue a career in the shooting sports industry, starting as a retail store manager and then as a distributor representative and an independent manufacturer's rep for about 20 years. I've worked with virtually every channel in the firearms industry, from independents to national retailers, and I truly enjoy working with independent dealers and assisting them with growing their business so they can be successful. So, real quick, I'll do a brief review or overview of key firearms legislation that affects our industry and how we go to market. So, to sell a firearm as a business in this country, as we are all aware, you need an FFL or a federal firearms license. This requirement was instituted with the Federal Firearms Act 1938 and was intended to regulate commerce. It was preceded by the NFA in 1934, which, as we know, limits SBRs, machine gun suppressors, and other weapons that were being used by prohibition-era criminals. 1968 Gun Control Act banned direct mail order sales to consumers, required them to go through an FFL to purchase a firearm. Brady Act of 93 required background checks on potential purchasers and a waiting period, and the NICS system was implemented in 1998. Most recently, we've had the BSCA, or the Bipartisan Safer Communities Act, and that's a current enacted legislation that additionally clarifies, regulates the firearms industry. It further defines the requirements of an FFL and what is a dealer. As stated by the BSCA, a firearms dealer is defined as someone who sells firearms at wholesale or retail, who works as a gunsmith or pawnbroker, who tends to predominantly earn a profit from the sale of firearms. This new rule aims to broaden the definition to include more people and entities in the licensing requirement, such as those who sell online or at gun shows. Real quick, let's talk about Chevron. It's the new monkey in the wrench. It's not only does it affect the firearms industry, but it has an impact on every facet of our lives. I won't profess to speak on the level of a legal scholar on Chevron, but it basically limits the executive branch from interpretation of ambiguous or unspecified laws by the legislative branch, right? So basically it gets that separation between the powers of state. There's a couple of links at the end of the PowerPoint, one of them being an article from the Duke Center for Firearms Law, and has a great article about Chevron and its implications for the firearms industry. The industry has traditionally been a face-to-face, hands-on business. As this industry has grown, just as with other industries, technology and how one goes to market has evolved. The growth of the blind segment, home defense, personal defense have all contributed to the 10 million new shooters since 2008 or so. And this demographic of shooters relies on their electronics and the internet to make purchases in all aspects of their lives. As this consumer matures, the ability to pull in these individuals becomes imperative if a firearms business wants to survive. Just due to attrition, a business needs to seek out new customer bases and clientele, and so having a viable e-commerce channel is a crucial part of building a well-rounded and complete firearms business and should be a part of any business plan. So let's talk about the perceived race to the bottom. Gun shows have been a traditional rotor of margin, and as you always have had those vendors at your gun shows that sell at cost plus 10 or even lower. The gun show dynamic has changed, but still survives in certain areas of the country, and the online channel has been accused of stepping in and replacing that channel. Yes, the online channel has similar margins, but with the access to information you have, you can increase your profit and be proactive, looking for special offerings to feature online and in store. So map pricing. Map pricing was developed to help combat online erosion of margin. Looking for those manufacturers and working with those that have a map pricing can increase your margin as well. In this day and age, MSRP really doesn't mean anything other than as a marketing tool. The real term that I would hear from sales managers is what they would call street tail, which is a more realistic number and would come from what product is actually selling at your key retailers or online. And in most cases, it's between MAP and MSRP. So where does that leave us today? Yeah, e-commerce is traditionally a tight margin platform, but this channel lets you maximize your turns and margin. You can take advantage of exclusives and special promotions to be competitive and increase your margin. Having an online presence brings validity and legitimacy to a dealer with a tech-savvy consumer, A business that has a professional online presence, whether they're conducting full online e-commerce or just looking to have a landing page, is a lot more acceptability in today's marketplace, and allows your customers access to an incredible amount of inventory and information that you access to more inventory and allocations also. Fulfillment allows you to optimize your inventory and tailor your pricing and promotions to differing demographics, such as varmint hunters, competitive shooters, long-range shooters, etc. Having a viable e-commerce channel is a crucial part of building a well-rounded and complete firearms business and should be a part of any business plan. So even with the peaks and valleys the industry has experienced with the election cycle and the election year we're in, we're going to talk a little bit about that. The industry's experienced these peaks and valleys really steadily since 93, really. And so if you take a look, Drew, let's go to that next page. There we go. Since 2016, where we experienced an 11% surge in sales, 2020 election resulted in a 40% increase in background checks, and into the 2023, where there were 31 million background checks, and now in 2024, where just this morning news was put out or released by NSSF, we've had 62 months now of 1 million plus NICS adjusted background checks per month. About a 1.3% increase over last year's numbers right now. And this is a true real number on what they're looking at for a retail sales or a retail channel. So election years are always a challenge. And as usual, the Second Amendment is a central issue with voters. This election is unique, but still just an election. Keeping a strong, flexible business plan and managing business should be a core focus in any year. Those that take the time, effort, and energy to invest in their business, treat it as a business and not a hobby, will rise to the top and be successful. Dare to Surpass allows you to have the tools to develop a new sales channel and still keep your business model simple and clean. I'll be around to answer any questions, or just visit after you hear from Trey with Coast to Coast Solutions. Trey, go ahead and finish us up for the day.
Hello, gentlemen. I appreciate you guys giving me some time here to jump on and chat with you a little bit about the payment processing side of things. When you're talking about firearms, obviously it's not all banks allow for you to use their processor for firearms. So being connected with a company that has multiple solutions like Coast to Coast will allow you to have the ease of taking payments from your clients and not having to worry about your funds being held. The biggest thing that and the reason we started Coast to Coast Payments is because we had multiple clients throughout the country that were in multiple different industries, and we didn't want to have to push people away specifically because maybe they're in a higher risk industry. And so when you work with Coast to Coast, you have the opportunity to work with myself. We also have a whole full tech team as well as a customer service. So I know Drew said you can give me a call and we can get on the phone and get things taken care of, which is certainly an option. But if for some reason I'm not available at that exact time, I do have a support team that can help you guys as well. The biggest difference between us and some of the other, 2A friendly processors is we do have a good relationship with a company called Fastbound. I'm sure you've heard of them. They're very large in the firearms industry for essentially compliance side of things for software, and we're their go-to when it comes to payment processing for their clients. And so we're in the firearms industry because we appreciate the industry. We appreciate everything that you guys do in the Second Amendment, and we look forward to potentially being able to earn some of your guys' business. I know you guys might have a payment processor that you already currently work with. Maybe you already like working with them. That's totally fine. But if there's ever a time where you would like to maybe see if you can get a more competitive rate, or maybe save some money, certainly would love the opportunity to work with you and potentially earn your business. So with that, I'll turn you back over to Drew, unless you got anything else you'd like me to go over, Drew.
Nope, beautiful. We're good to go. Appreciate you stopping in. I know you're out and about. All in all, guys, before we jump into the question segment, I'm going to take a second here and show you two of our clients' websites, kind of give you an idea of what this can look like. We're going to start with Live Tactically. Live Tactically is actually a nationwide brand focused on gun sales and training at a nationwide level. Their branding was previously built, so we did not handle any of the branding, but we handled the layout, the theme, and went over a lot of copy to fill in on exactly who they are. And that's through our whole process that Brandon was talking about of figuring out why you're different. On their front page, they wanted featured products, so you see that they have those. We have a little bit of rundown of the owner and why he is certified to sell firearms, train you tactically, and living life tactically. Here's their 5 pillars that we got to build out and design. These kind of show you what it is to live life tactically and what it means to them, and see if that resonates with you. Gun ranges, private lessons, booking, right? A lot of booking functionality. Our whole theme here was like sand desert. And I think our team did a really good job of that. If you're familiar with Texas, we really went with that Texas feel, as they're a Texas-based company. But what everybody's looking for is the shop. In our shop, we have a huge breakdown of manufacturers. You're going to have your product firearms, your product accessories, so many accessories, your optics. This is just going to be your scopes. And then we have your actions, and then really highly requested by people, we had to figure out how to do it, was your product calibers, which we did get, which is pretty neat, especially for somebody that's like, hey, I only like this type of ammo, and this is what I'm looking to use on X gun. We can find that for them. So only thing Brandon touched on, as you noticed, not much ammo options from Lipsies. It's something they're aware of. They're not really focused on. They really hone in on that polymer. So I just want to touch on that again. Next one I'm going to share is a little bit different, and we got to build this one in-house brand-wise, which was really fun because it's super unique. Son of the King Firearms is known for personalized service and unique, consistent branding, and everything was built in-house, color scheme, feel, you name it, font, and we really wanted it to kind of feel like that scripture font. So we have his items, which he has on sale. He uploaded this himself, and we have a section that auto updates to his homepage. He also wanted the featured. Everything that is featured from Lipsies would go here. This is actually auto-populated by them. We got your reviews, and as you see, it's more personalized rather than nationwide branding. It's more of contact and deal with them directly rather than getting a training. You would call them and say, hey, Timothy, I'm looking for X gun, and he would find that for you. That's why we like to call it the firearm finder rather than the shop. It was kind of a neat little thing our team did. With his, that is different. He wanted a price slider. So you're actually able to slide price and choose depending on price. And then your same old one I like to look at. Personally, my favorite is the B&T line. So look at how absolutely beautiful these are. It's laid out really well. Last thing I want to touch on, comparing the two. So everything is custom, and we really do mean that here. Let's pull up a same type of weapon. Boom. So everything's different. Even the product pages are individually built at a 4,000, sometimes 14,000, sometimes 15,000 products, and all of them are going to have the same feel of your website. So from this one versus this one, you can already tell a difference in design and layout that best fits the website. So that's the one thing I really like to stick out at the end. And then, of course, we always have the account tab, so you can make and create your own accounts. Big thing here for people that want to track their sales, order history, all that good stuff. So that's about it from me. Now let's go ahead and switch this back over to questions. If we have any questions here, we'll go ahead and take that. And thanks for joining us, guys. Seriously, your guys' time, we appreciate. More than that, we appreciate you getting guns to Americans legally and efficiently. That is all our goal here. And a huge thank you for Coast to Coast joining us today and having Bill pop in. We appreciate your time. At the end of this, I'm going to be sending to everyone that attended. You will be getting this important links page. Bill Jones talks a little bit about the firearms law with Chevron, so we got a direct link to read into that more. Coast to Coast links on here to get in contact with Trey directly, and then, of course, ours. Thank you so much, guys, and we will see you on our third webinar.